Shut the fuck up, fuckface. Patriarchy, fuckface. Why the fuck did you accept the position? Who the fuck hired you?
We should go. Every single family isn't what is fair.
Speaker, you see what happens when someone goes off script.
Alright, so it's July 1st, it's Canada Day, and I thought this would be as good a day as any day to start this new series that I want to be a weekly recurring series. Which is probably going to be just pointing out the stupidity and just dumb shit Justin Trudeau does the past week, because this seems to be a weekly occurrence for him, as well as the people in his cabinet and party in general. Honestly, there seems to be enough material to make a 5 to 8 minute video every week, because I'm telling you, it's that bad. It might not be as ridiculous every week, but it's enough to make a video. So anyways, let's start this one up. The first story is actually started a while back, which was this giant-ass rubber duck for Canada 150 celebrations. And yeah, no, I'm not joking around. This actually happened. If it sounds too dumb to be true, Trudeau probably did it. So this giant rubber duck reportedly costs $150,000 in taxpayer money. Obviously, we spend way more on other shit, but it's just the fact that you're spending it on a giant rubber duck that's odd. But wait, there's more. Apparently, this duck is a forgery. The giant Canada 150 duck is an illegal counterfeit, Dutch design studio claims. How the fuck is a giant rubber duck art? I mean, seriously, can't you make something normal, like an impressive marble statue or a photorealistic painting? According to the Amsterdam-based studio Hofmann, the namesake operation of the 40-year-old Dutch installation artist who designed the world-famous rubber duck sculpture has been seen in cities around the world since 2007 debut. In a statement, the studio claimed that the design for the 6-story, 13,000-kilogram rubber duck installation was instead licensed by Canadian partners off of Craig Zamborowski, an event producer who is retained to assist in the production of our art installation in Los Angeles, and who it allegedly is now settling an illegal counterfeit of real art. This whole thing is just nonsense. Only in Justin Trudeau's Canada. Am I right? Fuck. But more importantly, why the fuck did they even pursue a giant rubber duck? It has nothing to fucking do with Canada. And according to the left-wing regressive Toronto Star, many are on my side. Many have taken issue with the expensive price tag and the fact that it's not related to anything Canadian. As the PC critic for tourism, culture, and sport, I am not against people enjoying Canada Day festivals and festivities. No shit. But what I object to is the government funding a giant rubber duck that has no connection to Ontario or Canada 150, wrote Conservative MPP Rick Nichols in a statement Friday. Christine Van Gren, director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, agreed and said that spending so much money on a tourist attraction was useless because people would come to the harborfront anyway. And for this guy, why a rubber duck? Just give me one reason. I could understand if it was a moose or a beaver or a maple leaf or some shit like that. But it's a rubber duck. It's just completely unrelated. Silly, stupid, dumb, and there really isn't anything more to say. Alright, so I figured I'd do a reading of a funny satirical news story for a bit of a brain break. Ajit Sharan claims credit for the record 3.5 km sniper shot. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Ajit Sharan is Trudeau's current defense minister. And a couple months back, he claimed to be the architect of a key battle against the Taliban, which he has since retracted. So anyways, in this 100% true story, Harjit Shan told reporters that he was the architect behind the record-breaking 3.5-kilometer sniper shot reported by Canadian defense officials. Now, if you're not aware of this shot, actually, it was the world record was broken just last week when a JTF-2 operative, which is Canadian, made the crazy shot. He blew literally the competition by a kilometer. I did a kind of ranty, tired video on that, so I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in that. Trust me, the first 10 minutes you get the information. The rest of it is just reading and responding to dumbass comments. Continuing on, I can confirm that I, Harjit Shan, successfully hit a target at 3.5 kilometer, 3,540 meters, said the minister in a press conference at D&D headquarters. I can also confirm that the shot in question halted an entire Daesh invasion. The minister said that at the range he had to adjust for the weapons ballistics, windage, and the Corliss effect, which he said he was the first to reveal in a paper published in 1835. He explained that he decided to attempt the shot so he would not have to single-handedly parachute behind enemy lines in a tank from 10,000 feet while firing dual-wield grenade launchers, which he had already done many times before. I am honored to break the record that I set in the Boer War. If you don't know what the Boer War is, it's 1889, 90s. Well, I totally failed that fucking reading, so I guess it's time for a few Parliament ownage clips, because let's face it, that's what they are. But, yeah, Trudeau gets owned every week in Parliament, let's face it, so I would love to play some clips from this week, but, Parliament's closed now. It's been closed for the summer, so I'm gonna have to resort to some clips that are a couple weeks old at least, and there's not gonna be any new ones for a while, so this is what we got, I guess.
The Prime Minister's refusal to answer that question shows why this infrastructure bank is a complete disaster. In what year does the Prime Minister plan on balancing the budget? Will it be the year that pigs fly or the year that hell freezes over?
Mr. Speaker, we've heard all these arguments before. They were the core of the member opposite's re-election campaign.
Last year, two little girls started up a lemonade stand to raise money for summer camp. But they were shut down by the government because they did not have a permit. This year, this government has produced a permit application form for these young entrepreneurs with 10 conditions and 8 additional conditions that requires they also report all of their revenue to the federal government, supposedly so that Revenue Canada can keep a careful eye on whether they're paying their taxes.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister articulated his sophisticated thoughts on the threats of global terrorism. He told Americans that it was super important to invest in investigative national security stuff. He then described the impact of violent acts of terror, saying Canadians are able to respond to, quote, bad things happening without, quote, falling into a bad space. After abandoning the fight against ISIS and cutting our armed forces, can the Prime Minister tell Canadians what kind of stuff he's investing in and how he plans on keeping those positive vibes coming to keep us out of a bad space?
I'm glad the Leader of the Opposition's new duties hasn't kept him from his daytime TV watching. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, we take very, very seriously the importance of both protecting Canadians' rights and defending our safety at the same time.
Well, Mr. Speaker, after a week of avoiding me, that was the only place I could find him.
I hope you enjoyed those ponage clips. Now, the genderqueer-in-chief, yeah, he had a weird moment with a fucking puppet. So you know all the LGBT shit for, like, kids? Such as, like, the queer kid stuff on YouTube that you might have seen, and, like, things like going to the public library and learning your drag queen name from, like, a bunch of 6-year-old dudes in dresses. Not creepy at all. That's essentially what this has to do with. There's this, like, genderqueer puppet, and there's a really funny gif of Trudeau hugging this thing like it's fucking Elmo. It's like, you're my best friend, woohoo! In all seriousness, though, this really is a good segue into the last story that I want to talk about that you might have heard about, because it's received a little bit more international attention, and a couple weeks ago it made a bit of a bigger splash on a lot of the internet YouTube sites, being featured on channels such as Roaming Millennial. And yes, we are talking about Kathleen Wynne's Bill 89, which could allow for government intervention where someone thinks a child is not being properly supported by parents who hold some religious conviction that does not endorse the LGBTQ worldview. It also removes religion as a consideration for the child's well-being. And yes, it is absolutely law. But to make this crystal fucking clear, it is law in Ontario. So it's not part of Canadian law, it's just a provincial law in Ontario. It's like Colorado legalizing weed or some shit. It doesn't mean you can smoke it up in New York. I mean, it's not law where I'm living currently. Canada's a big place. Now, of course, there is the rational fear that this will spread to other provinces or even federal law, because that does tend to happen. However, it's hard to say if it will happen with Bill 89, as well as other provincial or federal adaptations might be different because of revisions to make it maybe potentially better, hopefully, or potentially worse. But of course, the government intervening and taking your child away when you don't agree that your 6-year-old boy is a trap? That's right-wing fear-mongering, according to Vice. Here's the new bill Canada's far right is freaking out about. After causing protests over M103, Canada's far-right media has a new target: the Ontario Liberals' overhaul of child protection services. After the ratings bonanza of M103, which resulted in far-right media creating protests receiving national coverage. Yeah, you're talking about Rebel Media. Rebel Media is clearly a media/activist organization. I definitely don't always agree. But to cry, OMG, the far right is making protests over law, wah. The far left do it too. You have activist groups always protesting every fucking little thing. People are allowed to have their activist groups and protest whatever the fuck they want. According to Vice's characterization of the bill has updated the criteria for analyzing the well-being of a child to match the Human Rights Code. These include a child's or young person's race, ancestry, place of origin, color, ethnic origin, citizenship, family diversity, disability, creed, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. It's the gender identity and gender expression the far right is focusing on, obviously. The main issue that the crew has seems to be that's fuck up. The protection of gender expression and gender and identity is extended to the home in the same sense that sexual orientation is. In a sense, these groups are worried about the government under Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne swooping into religious homes and stealing kids who have been brainwashed into believing they have a new gender. The theory, hold on. We're gonna show you some video evidence. This is not a theory.
If you want to be a drag queen and your parents don't let you, you need new parents. If you want to be a drag queen and your friends don't let you, you need new friends.
Would you look at that? That little kid would probably love to use the state to get away from his fucking parents because of LGBT ideology and gender identity. Right-wing theories confirmed. Breaking the conditioning. Now, of course, to play devil's advocate, they would say he's genuinely wants to be a drag queen at, 11. I know what I wanted to be at 11. A fucking fighter jet and an army man and a rescue worker and policeman, astronaut. But I sure as shit didn't become those things. So what if this little kid wakes up tomorrow and says, hey, I don't want to be a drag queen. I want to be a genderqueer or a dragonkin or fucking normal again. And you might be thinking, hey, what's the harm in that? You know, it's just a fun little drag queen thing. You get, oh yay, little drag queen, yay! And then for a couple months, and you know, it's all good. It's all good. The problem is things like hormone blockers. Hormone blockers make you sterile. That's not good. I'm going to make life decisions that will affect whether or not I can have children when I'm 11. Could that be defined as not agreeing with a child's gender identity if they demand hormone blockers? Second up is straight practicality. Hey, I'm going to switch my gender every couple months. So all these boys' clothes, they're not going to work. I need some dresses. Buy me a whole new wardrobe. That's expensive. A lot of people can't afford shenanigans like this. Like, seriously, if my 14-year-old boy is like, hey, buy me some bras because I'm a chick now, I'd be like, that's for people who have tits, not fucking 14-year-old boys. Unless you have giant man titties, and then I don't know what to do in that situation. Put them on a treadmill. Either way, there's some legitimate objections to this bill that are sensible. This is not far right. This is not something neo-Nazis or fucking only alt-rights Richard Spencers have. Like, no, this goes left and right because it's a pretty simple issue. Children do not have the liberty to make life-changing, altering decisions. We don't give them these responsibilities. They're not enfranchised citizens. They can't be drafted. They cannot vote. They cannot drink alcohol. Children are protected from certain responsibilities because they're kids. We cannot trust little Johnny with the reasoning abilities of, look, a unicorn. I want to be a unicorn. Look, I want to be a firefighter because that looks cool. With the pros and cons of transitioning. Even when they're 15 and 16 and Johnny's getting boners now, it's still too soon. It's a confusing time. You just discovered that, oh my god, big tits. I like big tits. Holy shit. And I just like the cautious conservative route. Hey, let's play the odds. 98% chance you're going to be straight. So maybe just wait until you're a legal adult to make these decisions. At least. Anyways, that should do it for all I wanted to say on that one. That's about it for this week, so I guess I'll see you next week. I guess, should we make it Saturday then? Yeah, let's make it Saturday. So sub to the channel if you want to see the next video on Saturday, because it'll show up in your home page. Subbing, it's pretty good. What a concept. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, share it up, like, comment, share your thoughts, do all the usual shit that normal professional YouTubers talk about. That is not me. Why are my outros always this cancerous?